have been especially difficult. We continue to average around 1,000 deaths a day due to the coronavirus. In addition, 6 people died in Alabama and Georgia with the recent storms. Plus, we heard of 8 murdered in Atlanta spas. And just last Monday, 10 were gunned down doing their routine grocery shopping. The loss of life is devastating. We're horrified by the news. Many of us have kept these families in our daily prayers. Hearts are breaking, lives forever changed. And today we hear another story of death. This time it is Jesus's. It gets read every year on Palm Sunday and Good Friday, and we hear it so often it begins to sound like a work of fiction, a well-thumbed story we pull out every year. In its repetition, the story can lose its power, become commonplace, overlooked. We hear the nasty bits about Jesus being spit upon, beaten, mocked, hung on the cross. We hear his last words crying out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" But do we truly hear it as another devastating death? A loss of a loved one? A death that changed all of our lives? I'm curious, what is our response to Jesus' death? How has it changed your lives? I heard that the GoFundMe set up for the families of the Atlanta victims raised over $3 million. Now that won't bring back their loved ones, but it is a concrete show of love taken by all the donors. Folks are placing memorials outside of King Soopers grocery store. Many are paying it forward for those impacted by the catastrophic storms. Lives are being transformed by these deaths. So how has ours been changed by the death of Christ? Well, there are many responses to that. We can live lives knowing that we are loved so much that Jesus was willing to die on the cross for us. Or we can live forgiven lives as we forgive others. Or we can work towards a juster community and see Christ in everyone we meet. Or here's another idea that I was reminded of as I saw an energy drink commercial. The voiceover says that we all have role models. We follow what they do. And then the mother in the commercial said, "If that drink is good enough for my daughter's role model, an athlete, then it's good enough for my daughter." Who is your role model? Maybe it's an athlete, a family member, or maybe, just maybe, it's Jesus. Jesus died because he was doing God's will. He knowingly and willingly went to Jerusalem, allowed himself to be beaten, to be killed. Now, I don't think that God's will for you is to die a horrific death, but I do know that if you are breathing, God has a will for you. What are you willing to do to follow God's will? Drink an energy drink? Donate money? Or, like Jesus, whatever it takes, even if it takes your life. This is the week in which we engage with Jesus' last week, that we hear the news of Jesus' brutal murder. What will our response be? How will our lives be changed? I pray that you and I, will allow the death of Jesus to transform our lives as we imitate the model of Christ and follow God's will, prioritizing our life around God's will. After all, if it's good enough for Jesus,